from WTVO 17 and your home team. Eyewitness News at 5 starts now.
Investigators name the suspects and the officers involved in back-to-back shootings. A specialized task force continues to investigate.
Rockford launches a program aimed at improving neighborhoods. City leaders say the key to improving your community is getting involved.
Children are our future, as we all know, and we want the best opportunity for every child.
A local museum hopes to add some value to your child's playtime. We'll tell you where you can pick up a learning kit. Good evening, I'm Mimi Murphy.
And I'm Eric Wilson. The specialized task force investigating a pair of officer-involved shootings over the weekend in Rockford releases new information. The
first incident involved the Winnebago County Sheriff's Office. It happened Saturday at a home on Bellwort Drive in Rockford. Investigators say the wife of Faustin Gaytigo called police and said he hit her. A deputy reported the woman had a bloody lip. Officers searched for Gaytigo but did not locate him. Hours later, another call prompted deputies to return to the house. Investigators saw the suspect outside of the home and directed him to put his hands behind his back. The man allegedly ran into the home. Two deputies entered the house using a key. One held a taser and the other held a firearm. The pair located Gaytigo in the basement holding a metal pipe. The officers asked the suspect to drop the pipe at least 3 times. Investigators say the man ran up the stairs and a deputy identified as Sergeant Brulard fired his gun. The suspect continued charging and hit Brulard on the head with a pipe, knocking him unconscious. Another deputy fired at Gaytigo, then gave him emergency care. Gaytigo died at the hospital. Brulard was treated and released.
The second shooting took place Sunday night and involves a Rockford police officer. Police attempted to stop a car near North Central and Michigan Avenues in Rockford. They say the vehicle pulled over on Illinois Avenue. Officers approached the car when a passenger of the vehicle got out and ran. Investigators say an officer, McGinnis, shot the suspect, later identified as 19-year-old Jose Gonzalez Jr. Gonzalez was treated and is expected to be okay. Police say a handgun and laser sight were recovered from the scene. Gonzalez is charged with unlawful possession of a firearm by a street gang member. He's being held at the Winnebago County Jail.
4 city leaders launch a campaign to get you talking to your neighbors.
Connect Rockford promotes volunteering within the community, and when each neighborhood takes part, the city as a whole, supporters say, will improve. Ari Bruckman joins us with how you can sign up. Ari?
Eric and Mimi, the mayor tells me a connected community was important before COVID-19 began, but it's even more important now after nearly a year of lockdowns.
I'm pleased to be here as we begin to launch Connect Rockford, which is a new initiative for the city of Rockford to help build a more nurturing and thriving community.
Connect Rockford is designed to get neighbors to get to know each other. Mayor Tom McNamara believes there's been a lack of person-to-person communication across the city, especially since COVID.
As a city, we've been investing so much into the capital infrastructure of our community. We also recognize we need to invest in the human infrastructure in our community, and that's by building relationships.
This initiative encourages Rockfordians to volunteer as block captains, who then connects neighbors with each other to improve the quality of life in each area of the city. Since joining as the neighborhood specialist for Rockford 2 years ago, Barb Chidley noticed families were not connecting.
When I talk to various neighbors, they don't feel like they've been heard. They don't feel like they're connected back to the city, or they're connected to the resources that they need, and they're not sure who to call. And we realize that it's so important for everybody to feel like they know who to call when they need help.
Mayor McNamara hopes Connect Rockford will emphasize, regardless of your background, everyone belongs here.
We want everyone to know that they belong here in the city of Rockford and that they can be connected with neighbors. Even if they look like they may have differences than you, or they come from different parts of town, whatever that is, we have a lot more in common. We all love Rockford.
In addition to Connect Rockford, the city created a Faith Leader Challenge. It encourages faith leaders and congregations to walk around their neighborhood. Find out more information on mystateline.com. Mimi?
All right, thanks, Ari. Drivers can expect extra traffic on one of Rockford's busiest roads the next few days. Crews are working on emergency water main repairs in the 400 block of West State Street. The road is closed to westbound traffic at North Church Street. Traffic controls are in place, but the city asked drivers to use caution and take a different route if possible. Construction could take up to 3 days.
Students at a Beloit Elementary School are agriculture professionals in training. The second grade class has been growing their own veggies all year long.
Michelle Rave joins us with more on their farm to lunchbox lesson. Michelle?
Second grade students at Gaston Elementary School in Beloit are learning about growing their own food. This past year, students grew lettuce with the help of the hydroponic plant station. Jennifer Herron is an instructional coach at Gaston. She says the experience helps students with everything from math skills to life lessons like responsibility and leadership skills. So far, 4 elementary schools in the school district of Beloit have these hydroponic stations. The goal is to expand to grow other produce.
Students can get that really fresh, almost like farm to table type food in their school lunches and get really excited about eating fresh produce and being able to see it grow along the way really is, I think, the most exciting.
The lettuce grown this year was part of the grab and go meals for the students. Coming up at 6, we'll hear from a second grader from Gaston who'll walk us through the process and share what he's learned so far. Eric.
Thanks, Michelle. Rockford's Discovery Center is helping local kids prepare for kindergarten. The museum's offering free Discovery at Home learning kits to promote development. Materials consist of 15 play-centered learning activities, including hopscotch, flashlight alphabet hunt, letter search. Recent data shows only 25% of incoming Rockford Public School kindergartners demonstrated readiness in key areas.
Playing is a big part of learning for young children, so the more opportunities they have to engage in story times and role play and games with their family, or maybe it's their grandparents, well, those opportunities will enrich them.
Discovery Center is partnering with organizations like the Rockford River Valley Food Pantry, Boys and Girls Club of Rockford, and Family Peace Center to distribute the kits.
The learning continues at another state line museum. Victorian Village at Midway Village is now open. The 47th season was marked with a flag raising ceremony, but if you look closely, a few stars are missing. The Loves Park VFW Color Guard raised a 44-star American flag as a symbol of history and education. The museum's executive director says it's exciting to have a piece of national history in Rockford.
The United States flag is such an important icon to our country, the history of our country, and the freedom of our country. So we wanted to use the official flag raising today to really tell the story about what the flag means to our country and the history of our country.
Midway Village's 13-acre Victorian village takes visitors back to the era of 1890 to 1910.
Our Rockford Church marks a milestone of blessing families with much-needed resources. We've told you about City First Church's food distributions before. Volunteers load pounds of dairy, produce, and protein into people's trunks. But today marked 1 year of the giveaways. The church serves more than 1,200 households at each event. Organizers say it's an honor to help people within the community.
In some ways, so much has changed in the last year. In other ways, not much has changed. There's still a need. There's still people who are showing up. Still people who have been affected by job loss or limited hours or layoffs or things like that. So we're so thankful that we can still do these month after month.
City First and its partner, Northern Illinois Food Bank, have given out more than 2 million pounds of food throughout the year.
The Health and Human Services Secretary is asking for billions of dollars in funding.
After the break, the money would help care for migrant children arriving in the U.S.
Temperatures were a little bit warmer today. Now we do have 60s coming up within the next few days, but we also have the potential for a few snowflakes next week as well. I'll let you know when. Coming up in the forecast. Stay with us.
You're watching Eyewitness News, your home team with Eric Wilson, Mimi Murphy, Sports Director Scott Leber, and Meteorologist Kevin Doom.
We're getting our first look at video after a deadly Chicago police shooting.
Body cam footage from the officer that shot and killed 13-year-old Adam Toledo was released this afternoon. This happened March 29th in the Little Village neighborhood. The video shows the officer chasing Toledo. The officer can be heard telling the teen to stop and show his hands. The teen appears to drop a gun and raise his hands just before he was shot. You then see the officer perform CPR while calling for more medical aid. Toledo and another man allegedly ran away from police who were responding to the area for a report of gunfire. Police say Toledo had a handgun and say it was recovered at the scene of the shooting. In all, 17 pieces of video were released. The head of Health and Human Services answers questions from lawmakers about the department's proposed budget.
It includes billions for programs that handle unaccompanied migrant children. As our Washington correspondent Alexander Limon reports, HHS hopes the money will mean better care and conditions for the kids. Eyewitness News is keeping you connected to the nation's capital.
The Department of Health and Human Services is asking Congress for $4.3 billion for the Office of Refugee Resettlement, which handles the care of unaccompanied migrant children.
I will continue to push for a more transparent program, oversight and monitoring of these facilities, especially with these large numbers of children.
Congresswoman Rosa DeLauro wants to know what HHS will do to expedite placing the children in the care of safe sponsors. But Washington Congresswoman Jamie Herrera Butler is worried sponsors aren't always vetted.
This makes me sick. So to hear that the FBI vetting is not actually always taking place means we could be helping traffic children.
There have been cases in the past, none that I'm aware of in the time that I've been secretary, but there have been cases in the past where a child has ended up in the hands of someone who's either trafficked them for sex or for labor.
Health and Human Services Secretary Javier Becerra told lawmakers proper vetting of sponsors takes time, and in the meantime, his department cares for the children.
While they are with us, we are hoping to provide them not only with the medical services that you would expect for any child, but also the care, which would include educational, recreational services.
Secretary Becerra said it's becoming harder to provide all the things required by law because of the high number of migrant children still arriving in the U.S. In Washington, Alexandra Limon.
It was a little warmer today as we managed to get into the 50s.
At least we're going to warm up a little bit headed into the weekend. It won't last, though. When we come back, Kevin Doom's in for Candace King. He'll tell us when we could see a spring freeze.
Now your first warm weather forecast with meteorologist Kevin Doom.
But after being stuck in the 40s yesterday, our temperatures did make it back into the 50s today for most of us. A few spots were stuck in the 40s once again. Here in Rockford, we made it into the mid-50s. Right now we're at 54 degrees, 52 up in Janesville, still at 48 in Freeport and 49 currently up in Monroe. So this was a little bit of a warm-up from yesterday. We only saw a high of 49 degrees yesterday, despite seeing some pretty strong winds out of the north and northwest all day. Several spots still seeing sustained wind speeds of around 10 to 15 miles an hour, with gusts upwards of around 20-25 miles an hour. Our weather watcher Mike in Forreston recently checked in with a temperature of 50 degrees, says he has overcast skies for the time being. Here's a live look over the Poplar Grove Airport using a Mercy L SkyTrack, where we do see a little bit of blue sky overhead, but definitely seeing more clouds than clear sky. We had a really good mix of clouds and sunshine up until about the middle of the afternoon. Then we definitely started to see a little bit more cloud cover move in overhead. But despite the added cloud cover, we're not seeing any rain in the region. Our region is actually under the influence of some high pressure, which is helping to keep the rain away for the time being. Now looking ahead with our futurecast, we'll actually see a little bit of clearing in our cloud cover later on this evening and into the overnight. So partly cloudy skies are expected overnight tonight and through much of tomorrow as well. Going to see once again a good mix of clouds and sunshine. Hopefully this time we'll actually see more clear sky than a cloud cover overhead through our Friday. Now more clouds, however, will be moving in late tomorrow evening and into the overnight and continue to fill in overnight between tomorrow and Saturday. That's actually going to lead to mostly cloudy skies on Saturday. Most of the day should be dry, but there's a slight chance we could see a few very isolated, very light showers move through to kick off the weekend. But our best chance for rain in the next 7 days or so comes as a cold front is going to be passing over late Monday and into Tuesday. Now this is going to be coming in from the northwest. We should start to see a little bit of rain from the system as early as Monday evening. Most likely we're going to see precipitation for the most part overnight between Monday and Tuesday. But this is going to be a very strong cold front as a lot of very cold air sits behind this front. There is a chance that we could possibly even see a little bit of a wintry mix associated with this front, particularly early Tuesday morning after this front has actually passed over and we're starting to tap into a lot of that cold air. Not expecting anything to accumulate. However, most of the snow that we are going to see, if we do see any snow, will be mixed with some rainfall. And then this system will be moving out of here by around midday on Tuesday. Now, in addition to the cold air that this is going to pull in, we're also expecting a frost potential here in the state line over the next several nights, even though temperatures are going to be in the upper 30s until that cold front moves on through, bringing us down to the lower to middle 30s. This is these are low temperatures for Rockford, early morning low temperatures for Rockford, where we do tend to be a lot warmer than the rest of the state line. For instance, if we take a look at the low temperatures this morning, we only made it down to 37 degrees, but 32 was the low in Galena and in Sterling, 33 in Freeport, 34 in Monroe, and up in Janesville. So even though us here in Rockford should probably avoid that frost potential, we could see a little bit develop over the next several nights for some of the more outlying areas. Now tonight, similar situation, temperatures, at least here in Rockford, dropping down to the middle to upper 30s. A little bit warmer tomorrow, middle to upper 50s with a good mix of clouds and sun. We're going to remain in the middle to upper 50s, through the weekend. 60s should return by Monday very briefly before that front moves on through, bringing us down into the 40s for Tuesday.
Briefly is the key word there, Kevin. Those 60s only last a day, and then we're right back down into the 40s.
Yikes.
Thanks.
Scott's in next to talk sports. Another Nick 10 football team's been shut down by COVID-19. This is the biggest blow yet, just when the conference was hoping to crown a champion.
And Chicago Bears players sent a message that they want to play it safe again this spring.
Now, the Napleton Sports Desk with Sports Director Scott Leber.
This has turned into a devastating week for Nick 10 football. 3 schools now have seen their varsity seasons end due to COVID. Guilford, Belvedere North, and now Boylan. Titans are dealing with multiple positive cases. Their big showdown with Harlem on Saturday is now off. This throws the chase for the Nick 10 championship completely out the window. Boylan already sat out a game last week because its opponent Auburn was going through COVID protocols. Also this week, the football teams at Oregon and Rock Falls were shut down. The finish line of the football season is next weekend. A lot of people, including myself, are wondering if dragging this on another week is worth it. Perhaps not. But on the other side, do you want to tell the kids at the other schools who are healthy and who have put in so much time and hard work that they shouldn't continue to play this weekend and next weekend? I couldn't do that. That's a decision that needs to be made by individual schools, the players, and their parents. It's a shame that 13 months after COVID-19 gummed up the works in high school sports, we're still having to deal with these tough decisions. Well, the Chicago Bears players aren't taking chances with COVID. They've decided not to attend voluntary off-season workouts. They have become the 7th NFL team to opt out of in-person workouts. They will agree to virtual meetings with the coaches. The leaders of the NFL Players Association have advised all players to pass on the in-person workouts. Look for more teams to follow. To me, this is a no-brainer for the NFL. With COVID cases on the rise again, virtual off-season programs are the way to go. They worked extremely well last year, and there was no drop-off in the play and competition level once the season began. Had play suffered last fall, then it might be a different story. It's the mental preparation that matters most in the NFL in April, May, and June. And the players can easily condition on their own with virtual programs from the conditioning and strength coaches. The Bears have not released an official response yet to the players' decision to pass on the off-season in-person workouts. That's my take. We'll be right back.
Here's a look at our first sworn interactive radar, sponsored by Rockford Auto Glass and More. We're seeing some mostly cloudy skies overhead for the time being, but no rain in the area. Conditions going to remain dry with us through the night and through tomorrow, through most of the weekend as well. Middle to upper 50s are where we're expecting to wrap up the work week and to go on through the weekend. We do see a slight chance, however, for a few very brief, very isolated showers heading through the day on Sunday. Our next good chance of rain arrives Monday as temperatures should return to the lower 60s, but this chance of rain going to come on through as a cold front moves over the area late Monday into Tuesday. You can see it just plummets temperatures as we head on into Tuesday, bringing temperatures down into the upper 40s. Could possibly even see a few snowflakes mixed in with some rain early Tuesday morning.
Snowflakes? We don't want to hear that
no,
right
thank
now.
You.
Thanks, Kevin.
And thank you for spending a little time with us. Stay safe.